I've also noticed that it's old straight dudes who seem to have the most problems with transgender people. I have a theory about that as well. I think straight old dudes are always mad at transgender people because they keep getting hotter and hotter. And now old straight dudes were questioning our entire identity in a way we have never had to before. I've known my whole life I don't want to sleep with a man. I've known my whole life I do not want to sleep with a man. And then I watched RuPaul's Drag Race. And thought, well, this is negotiable.
Out, man, you flipped out.
It's like, I don't think I'm gay, but I love accessories, so. It's like, I really want to talk about feather boas. Where's that on the spectrum? And this girl I know, she heard that joke. She's like, just so you know, there's a huge difference between drag queens and transgender people. And I was like, well, just so you know, I want to have sex with all of them.
11 shirts at Marshall's.
She's like, well, that just means you're fluid. And I was like, I prefer moist. Please respect my choice of pronoun, all right? Thank you very much. The other thing I don't get, I read about these Supreme Court cases. This is always the same thing. Is these dudes, they don't want to have to bake wedding cakes for gay weddings. Every time I hear this, I have the same question.
Time, Greg, you're 48. Don't you after 7 families?
Yet love baking wedding cakes.
Blue jeans, 200.
How is this not a reality show?
Son.
I would watch every episode of the homophobic bake-off, whatever. Just see him at the bakery at 5 a.m. and his apron just says, God created savory and sweet, not Adam and Steve. I just want to see him like putting the frosting on a cake, being like, these goddamn fags. It needs more cinnamon, though. More cinnamon, right? I mean that in a straight way. More cinnamon, though, right? And then I see these abortion bans. And I've noticed the politicians who are always passing these abortion bans, always these dudes in their 80s. And you hear them talk, they don't even understand how women's bodies work. This is an actual quote. One of them says, like, if a woman doesn't want to get pregnant, she has ways of shutting that thing down. What are you talking about, dude? Why does this guy get a vote? I think there needs to be a test. You don't get to vote on women's reproductive rights until you prove you can find the G-spot. Right? It'd be great just to see these geezers being like, is that it? It's like, no, dude, that's a pencil sharpener. No vote for
me. Every year for Christmas.
No representation without clitoral stimulation. That's our policy. But it's crazy to me to have old men passing laws about young women's bodies. Like dudes, like imagine if your grandma got to make all the rules of your fantasy football league. How crazy would that be? One day she's like, touchdowns are illegal now. You're like, what? It's like, Grandma, do you even know how football works? She's like, I know what Jesus would want. The defense doesn't want to let touchdowns happen. They have ways of shutting that thing down. And here's my thing. The people who talk the most about loving Jesus, if he was running for president, I'm not sure they'd vote for him. All these people, they talk about how much they love Jesus. If he showed up and had a political rally, you know they'd all be like, who the hell does this guy think he is? 33-year-old reform.
Rips his sister's titty out of...
I don't like it. Jesus would just start doing stuff out of the Bible and they would hate it. Jesus would be like, look, I brought 2 fish and I've used it to feed the entire crowd. They'd all be like, see, he's a socialist. I knew it. Jesus would be like, look, I've healed all the lepers. Universal health care. God damn this guy. I don't even think he's American. I want to see his birth certificate. Last thing I'm doing is voting for a Jew, I'll tell you that much. Jesus would be like, wow, I guess I'll run as a Democrat. He'll show up in one of the Democratic debates. They'll be like, last thing we need is an out-of-touch white man. Just giving everyone fish without even asking if they're pescatarians. What about consent? Then Jesus will just like rip off his mask and be like, I can't believe I pretend to be white for these people.